Imagine the year is 1346 and the Black Death has you in its grip. Burning fever, swollen black boils, gasping for breath, and the doctor's solution is to press a live chicken against your skin. Yes, during the Black Death, people truly believed this bizarre remedy could draw the plague from your body. But where did such a strange idea come from? And why did it grip Europe for centuries, even after it clearly failed? In this video, we'll uncover the strange logic that made people trust a chicken over a doctor, and why, during the Black Death, this insane remedy felt like hope. In the autumn of 1347, an invisible killer arrived on the shores of Europe. It came not with armies, nor with banners, but hidden deep within the holds of Genoese merchant ships, a stowaway in the form of a deadly bacillus, carried by fleas, riding on the backs of rats, or perhaps, as some scholars now suggest, by lice clinging to human skin. The Black Death swept across the continent between 1346 and 1352, claiming 25 to 30 million lives, nearly 1/3 to 1/2 of Europe's population. Entire towns vanished, fields went untended, and society struggled under the weight of death. Medieval physicians had no understanding of bacteria. They blamed the plague on God's wrath, corrupted air, or planetary misfortune. Germ theory was centuries away. Its most feared symptom, and the one that gave the plague its grim name, was the appearance of swollen, blackened buboes in the armpits and groin, caused by bleeding beneath the skin. These were accompanied by high fever, joint pain, and an unrelenting sense of dread. In many cases, death came within 3 days. From the bustling ports of Sicily, the Black Death traveled the trade routes of Europe, to France, Spain, England, Ireland, and beyond, spreading like wildfire through city streets and remote villages alike. In some regions, whole communities were left without a living soul. The disease did not discriminate. Rich or poor, young or old, all were equal before its grasp. With no cure, no understanding, and no hope of prevention, medieval Europe turned to desperate measures. Physicians, priests, and common folk alike sought remedies that ranged from the prayerful to the bizarre, and even the grotesque. And among these strange treatments, one would stand out in its sheer peculiarity: the belief that pressing the warm body of a live chicken to a plague boil could draw out the sickness. But why a chicken? And what strange theory convinced medieval doctors that this bird could save lives? That's where our story really begins. When the first wave of the Black Death struck Europe in the mid-14th century, physicians of the time found themselves utterly powerless. Nothing in their experience, no prior epidemic, no inherited wisdom, came close to the speed or scale of the disaster before them. The plague killed with merciless efficiency, often claiming its victim within 3 days of the first fever. Nobody knew how to prevent it, and nobody knew how to cure it. Bloodletting, herbal concoctions, and fervent prayers all failed. The flaw lay not only in the remedies themselves, but in the very framework of medieval medicine. For centuries, physicians had clung to the writings of ancient authorities, reluctant to challenge or alter the models of health and disease they presented. The works of Galen and others before him formed the backbone of European medicine, but few were read in their original Greek or Latin. Instead, doctors relied on Arabic translations, themselves retranslated into Latin, including the famed canon of medicine by the Persian polymath Avicenna. Brilliant as it was, its meaning was often muddled by poor translation. From Galen came the theory of the 4 humors: yellow bile, blood, phlegm, and black bile, each linked to an element, a temperament, a season. To restore health was to restore balance among these humors. But illness, it was thought, could also arise from the alignment of the planets, the corruption of air and water, foul winds, rotting matter, or the wrath of God himself. In their desperation, people reached for whatever hope they could grasp: remedies preserved in folk tradition, Christian rituals, astrological prescriptions, even accusations of witchcraft against outsiders. Some fled their homes in terror, others stayed and tried anything, no matter how strange, to fight death where they stood. And that's where the bizarre live chicken treatment first seized people's attention, a cure so strange, you'll wonder how anyone thought it could work, until you hear the theory behind it. Among the many cures that emerged during Europe's long battle with plague, few are as striking, or as unsettling, as the live chicken cure. Later English sources would call it the Vicary method, after Thomas Vicary, an English physician who endorsed it. The treatment was simple in its execution, yet strange in its logic. A healthy chicken, plucked bare along its back and rear, would be strapped directly against the swollen plague bubo of the patient. The reasoning was as grim as it was hopeful. If the chicken showed signs of sickness, it was believed to have drawn the plague's poison from the human body into its own. The bird would be removed, washed, and reapplied again and again, until either the patient recovered, or the chicken died. Its origins stretched back centuries. In the canon of medicine, the Persian polymath Avicenna had recommended placing a cut chicken on a poisonous bite or sting to draw out venom. In the desperate search for answers during the Black Death of 1348, European physicians reinterpreted this advice, imagining plague as a kind of pervasive poison. The very first plague treatise, written that same year by the Catalan physician Jacques d'Agremont, mentions the chicken rump method as a novel adaptation of Avicenna's cure. Over the following centuries, the recipe evolved. Some physicians salted the chicken before application. German doctors in the 15th century speculated that the bird breathed through its backside, inhaling the poison directly from the bubo, and even suggested sealing the beak to force this process. Others praised the bird's natural warmth, claiming it acted as a healing force in itself, a view curiously echoed in modern medicine's use of moist heat to treat inflamed swellings. By the time plague treatises became widespread in print, the live chicken cure had become an almost emblematic remedy, bizarre, yes, but for some, a symbol of hope when no better cure could be found. And yet, how exactly was this strange ritual performed, and what did it look like in practice? Due to a lack of proper knowledge in medicine, physicians fighting the Black Death focused on its most visible and terrifying sign, the swollen, inflamed buboes. These angry lumps became the target of countless remedies, from bloodletting and cupping to the strange use of animal parts. And among these, none was more curious, or more enduring, than the live chicken cure. Some physicians swore by it. With the advent of the printing press in the 15th century, medical treatises became more than repositories of knowledge, they were also advertisements of expertise. In these pages, learned men recorded personal encounters with patients who, they claimed, recovered after the chicken treatment. These were not measured experiments. They were anecdotal tales, bolstered more by hope and repetition than by proof. Then why did the method endure for centuries? Part of the answer lies in an ancient faith in the healing properties of chickens. From Avicenna to Paracelsus, respected authorities endorsed chicken-based remedies for ailments ranging from venomous bites to fevers. And in an age without germ theory, it was not unreasonable to see the bird's warmth, a steady 41 to 45 degrees Celsius, as a potential force for drawing out disease, much like a warm compress eases pain today. But the truth is far less generous. Whatever small comfort the warmth might have brought, it could not kill the plague bacterium. In fact, pressing a live, possibly dirty animal against an open lesion risked spreading infection, not curing it. Worse still, the ritual consumed precious hours, hours in which the patient's condition might only worsen. Still, for the medieval mind, where treatment was as much about symbolism and hope as science, the live chicken cure promised an active fight against a deadly enemy. And the chicken cure is just one feather in the nest of medieval medical madness. There are stranger remedies still, waiting to be uncovered. Subscribe to Unseen Medieval to uncover more bizarre remedies, strange superstitions, and the forgotten oddities that shaped our past. And if you have any idea about medieval medicine or treatment practices in mind, drop it in the comments, and we'll turn it into our next story. Thanks for watching.